Chair, thank you very much. I suppose I just wanted to acknowledge the survivors who come in to speak to us today and to hear those experiences, and particularly, I suppose, I would know the Tuam area, coming from Galway, and I would have met with Peter Mulrine previously, and I suppose I'd like to offer some of the time that you've given me here, perhaps to Peter, if he would like to come in again. He has spoken very, very deeply there about, his mother and his sister, and even the impact now to his own family. It's very stark. There's been a particularly heavy loss of life in the Tuam Mother and Baby Home, especially in the 30s and 40s. It was shocking, and we saw that from the report that was issued. But if Mr. Mulrine would like to give any other information that he has or feedback, I'd like to offer him the time, and perhaps if there was anything he wanted to say on the DNA process as well. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Senator. Peter.
I would like to speak in general now. The DNA, I haven't been asked to do it. Why, again, I don't know. I'm available to do it. I did it privately, and I got a lot of information from it myself, but to get it done right now again would be so important to find out, is she there? Is she in America, sold off? I just don't know where I am. She could be alive and around. I went to America 2 years ago in New York and a few places, and giving talks in a few universities and Irish centres, and there was a great response from there, hoping that she'd put her head up somewhere and look at me if she's out there. That's what I'm hoping that will happen, rather than being down in that sump, septic tank, decaying away in such a situation, not even put into a coffin, just a bit of cloth and left on a shelf there under the darkness of night, and somebody knows, but there's no records whatsoever. It's scary stuff. It happened in wartime. It'll happen, and you make some allowance for it in war, but there's no war in this country that to do that with such innocent babies. That numbers, we don't know how many thousands of babies. Like, what would the religious orders thinking of? Is the population too high or what in the country? What kind of an idea did they come up with to neglect an innocent human being like that? And now, talking about Memorial Garden, that is not enough. These babies should be giving back to their relations, siblings, given back, and whether identified and the DNA done properly. That's what we need. And we can take them to our own graveyards and graves, and we know where we can go to and pray to them if they're in there. But they must not be left there any longer, a second longer. It's going on now for the last 6 or 7 years, highlighted, and no further on. If somebody found a strange animal down in the end of their garden or anywhere on the road, or even the fish in the water dead, what's the first thing you do? You report it to the guards, and they'd come along and investigate why that animal or fish died. And here we have known numbers of babies, nothing thought of them, nothing. Like, more respect for the wild animals in this country. There must be those babies all over Ireland, what was done to them.
There has to be a lot of reparation, I think, and Peter, thank you so much for the time there. I think very, very important that the DNA process happens as soon as possible. I mean, that's something that for the families and their members of the families of survivors would be crucial to happen. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you, Chair, for allowing me to speak.